So of all the matchups and rivalries in the NBA over recent years, one of the most lopsided has been Cavaliers-Raptors. For the past 3 seasons, the teams met in the playoffs, and for the past 3 seasons, Cleveland eliminated Toronto. Although really, eliminated is kind of putting it kindly, considering that 2 times LeBron and crew swept the Raptors, and the other year they let them win a couple games, but only because they were partying so hard that reportedly Coach Ty Lue had to lecture them to stop. What are you going to do? What do you call it that happened to everyone at the end of that Avengers movie? Yeah, like that. Exactly. That's basically what Cleveland did to Toronto. Goodbye, Dwayne Casey and DeMar DeRozan. It wasn't a surprise then that the NBA made Cavs-Raptors part of its opening week slate. This was basically set up to be a revenge game for Toronto, since, as you may have heard once or 3,000 times, the man who bullied the Raptors all those years is in LA now. And Toronto went out this summer and got a bully of its own. And make no mistake, Kawhi Leonard is a bad, bad man when he is healthy, and last night he sure did look healthy. Of course, there was some rust and some nerves at first. We saw a raucous intro from the Toronto crowd. And then Kawhi went out, and he did miss his opening 3 shots. But hey, that didn't last long. By the second quarter, he looked as reliable as ever, and by the second half, he was doing that. He would finish with 24 points, 13 boards in his first real game in 9 months. Afterward, he was his usual chatty self, regaling the media with funny stories, describing in depth how much his leg had healed, and no, I'm just kidding. Of course, he didn't do any of that. But as we have seen since he arrived in Toronto, he was at least a little more open to talking a little bit. Here was his assessment.
I felt good. I'm happy we came out and got a win. Came out the game healthy, so it's a win-win for me.
Were you surprised to get up to 37 minutes right out of the gate?
No, not how the game planned out to be. I seen where it was going, so it wasn't a surprise.
You heard Kawhi talking there about how the game went. As expected, Toronto was in control the whole time. The Cavs did make a few runs. They even got the score within 7 with about 3 minutes to go, but they never really actually felt like a threat. And a lot of the team's general sloppiness that LeBron simply wallpapered over, you can see it now. The Cavs turned the ball over 16 times, netting the Raptors 16 points. The defense was often shaky. And 23-year-old Cedi Osman took LeBron's spot in the lineup. He did notch a double-double, but gosh, it's going to be a long season there in Cleveland. So did some of the Raptors, like Kyle Lowry, maybe possibly take some joy in watching the Cavs look so helpless? This was the team that was indirectly responsible for shipping Lowry's best friend off to San Antonio, after all. And Lowry clearly came onto the court looking to get destructive. Look at this shot chart. 27 points on 10 of 12 shooting, 8 assists, and a steal and a block in there for good measure. In the end, it was a cathartic outing for him and for a lot of the Raptors. And that's not to say that beating Cleveland makes their season already a success or that their goals for this year revolve around settling old scores. But for one night, opening night, it was nice to be the team doing the bullying. And they can only hope there are more of those nights to come. So, Tracy, we've now seen sort of the key teams in the East that everyone's been talking about, right? Philly and Boston and now Toronto. What do you make of the Raptors and their place in the conference?
I really don't make nothing of this last night, what I've seen. I mean, we're talking about a LeBron-less team. You know, these guys are trying to figure themselves out. You have 2 guys really are accustomed to the role that they were put in last night as George Hill and Kevin Love. Everybody else was just like, you know, we're trying to figure this thing out on the go. Kawhi, I mean, he was a little inconsistent. I like to see more of him, of dominating on the offensive end. Defensively, I know what he's going to bring to the table, but for me, I have to see Kawhi in a different system, able to take over basketball games outside of a pop system. I still don't. I'm kind of in between with that if he could do that.
Not me. I seen him, I mean, after 9 months of not playing, I seen him look the same way. I mean, you have your traditional rust, but he got the same shots that he usually gets. They put him in the same situations. He loves that mid-range, that elbow area, that T-Mac area, we like to call. But he got there, you know, and he makes threes. Obviously, defensively, he's going to be there. I'm a big fan of this Raptors team. I really do. I think that them and the Celtics are the class of the East. And they're gonna have a chance. They can play big, they can play small. They're gonna have a chance to be special.
How special? I don't think they have a chance to be as special as the Celtics. I just don't think they run that deep.
Right.
You know, there's a lot on Kyle Lowry's shoulder that he has to carry. Can he carry that load? You know, not having DeRozan, a role that, you know, Kawhi is stepping into where he has to be a scorer, a facilitator. Can he do that in this new role, this new system? I don't know, there's a lot of things that needs to happen for me throughout the season that to make me feel that they're on the Celtics level. Right now, I'm saying no.
I do want to see the Lowry and Kawhi sort of chemistry develop because Kyle was so upset this summer when DeMar was so upset to be traded away, right? And the irony is that Lowry is so upset and supposedly ghosting Raptors management when he got a teammate who, you know, on paper is at least better and a better match for him than DeMar. So I want to see kind of how that develops over this season too.